here we are in Adobe After Effects. Let's create a new composition and we are going to name it as main animation. Width I'm going to choose over here is 1920, height 180, frame rate is 30, and duration I'm going to choose, let's say 60 seconds, which means 1 minute, and simply hit OK. Then go to choose grid and guide option and simply hit on title selection. Then I'm going to press Ctrl N and I'm going to call it as strip over here, and let's unlock this lock aspect ratio, and height I'm going to choose 200 for this comp and simply hit OK. Then I'm going to press Ctrl Y to create one solid background, and then I'm going to lock this layer. Then I'm going to select my rectangle tool and I'm going to delete this fill because I don't need that fill. And for the stroke I'm going to choose black color and simply hit OK. Then double click on this to create a complete rectangle. Go to the rectangle path and size and simply uncheck this, and let's decrease the size from here and let's increase the size from here like that. Okay, so this is going to be my strip. Now I need to add some text. So for the font I'm going to choose Poppins. Let's choose extra bold and type whatever text you want. I'm going to type motion graphics and I'll select this text. I'll hit Ctrl C, I'll hit spacebar 2 times and I'll hit Ctrl V. Now select this text and press Ctrl Alt Home to align that anchor point to the center. Go to the align tab, align it horizontally and then align it vertically. Now press S for scaling option and scale it somewhere around like this. Okay, now select this layer and hit Ctrl D to duplicate it, and let's hide this first layer. Now select this layer, press P for position, create one keyframe at the start, zoom in, go to around 8 seconds, press V, select this, and by holding shift I'm going to move this out of this composition. Then I'm going to enable this first layer. I'm going to select this and then I'll make it apparent with the second one. Alt click on the stopwatch and let's type loop out expression over here and hit OK like that. So we will get this animation continuously in the form of loop. If you think the animation is slow, simply go to the 4 second and bring this keyframe over here, so animation will work a little bit faster, or you can go to 6 second as well and move this keyframe over here like this. Okay, then let's uncheck this. So select all of them and press Ctrl Shift C to pre-compose this, and let's call it as main strip. Okay, now after that I'm going to select this and I'll go to the effect and presets panel, and I'm going to search for one effect called corner pin and simply double click to pin this, and then by holding shift I'm going to bring down one corner over here and then bring one corner over here like this. Okay, so we will get this kind of pin over here like that. Okay, then go to the main animation and press Ctrl 0 and bring this strip over here like this. Then let's go to the effect and presets and search for a CC Bend-It effect and simply double click to apply. Then we will bring this anchor point over here and this anchor point over here like this. Then we will increase the Bend-It size somewhere around like this and press F4 and enable this icon so we can see proper bending effect over there. Okay, so we'll bend it like this. Now select this and press Ctrl Shift C to pre-compose this and move all attributes into the new composition, and let's call it as bending strip and simply hit OK. And let's move this comp over here like this. Press Y for pen behind tool, and by holding shift I can easily adjust this point somewhere around over here. Let's, with the help of upper arrow keys, I can adjust it somewhere around like this. Let's make this fit. Okay, now I can select this and press R for rotation, then alt click on the stopwatch and type open and close square bracket. Inside that type rotation, again open and close bracket, type 0, and after that type plus, then type 10 star index. Okay, so this is going to be my expression that I'm going to use, and now all you need to do is simply hit Ctrl D several times, so you will get this kind of structure. Okay, so now if I hit play and if I see this animation, I'm gonna get this kind of stuff. Okay, so this is our animation like this. Now let's select all of them and press Ctrl Shift C, and I'm going to call it as let's call it as collection of strips like this. Okay, now let's go inside this Over here we need to adjust it one by one, so hit page down button one time, select all of them, hold alt, close bracket to trim up to this, right click, keyframe assistance, sequence layers, hit ok. Now zoom out and let's increase the duration of this comp somewhere around like this. Then go to the start and let's zoom in a little bit. Let's select all of them up to this, hold alt and open bracket to trim up to this, then go to the start and let's move this over here. So as you guys can see, we are getting this kind of strip animation like this. Okay, then after that, right click, let's not right click, but we will add some depth over here. So for that I'm going to select my ellipse tool, and by holding shift I'm going to create one ellipse, press Ctrl Alt Home to align that anchor point to the center, go to the align tab, align it horizontally and then align it vertically. Then we will delete this stroke, I don't need that stroke, and then we are going to choose black color for it. Then select this, press S, and let's decrease the scale somewhere around like this. Go to the effect and presets panel and search for blur effect, and we will apply Gaussian blur, and then we will increase the blurriness up to 200 somewhere around like this. So we are gonna get this kind of stuff, and let's make this value 400 like this, or press S and let's make this 100 like this. So if you see, we are getting this kind of stuff. Now I'm going to select this collection of strip and I'll hit Ctrl D to duplicate it. Then I'm gonna go in my effect and presets panel and I'll search for CC sphere effect and simply double click to apply to create this kind of spherical structure, and then increase the radius somewhere around like this. Then select this, right click, reveal layer in source project, select this and hit Ctrl D, and by holding alt I'm going to replace this effect. Then go inside this, select this, go to the effect and presets, and we will delete this blurriness, and let's decrease the scale to 70. So I'll get this kind of structure. Okay, then press unlink the scale and let's make this 60 like this. So I'm gonna get proper whole type structure over here. Now after that, let's try to create another stuff. Now let's select this, go to the shading options over here, and we will decrease the diffuse value to 10 and ambient value to 100 like this, or let's say 50, or let's say 80 something. Okay, like this. I think 100 would be good, and diffuse value 40, or let's say 20 maybe, like this. If I see this in full resolution, I'm gonna get this kind of structure. Now there is another thing we need to do over here, is to create adjustment layer animation. So let's try to do that. I'm gonna right click, new, and create one adjustment layer. Sorry, not over here, but select this, right click, new, and create one adjustment layer, and go to the effect and presets panel and search for tint effect and double click to apply, and we can swap this color whenever we want. And then I'm going to select this and I'm going to bring this layer over here like this. Okay, then let's bring this at the top, this layer at the top, and then we are going to create one ellipse over here, and by holding shift I'm going to create one ellipse, and this ellipse is going to act like a mask. So hit enter and let's call it as mask. Then select this, press Ctrl Alt Home to align that anchor point to the center, go to the align tab, align it horizontally and then align it vertically. Now if you see, if you go inside our text over here, and if you hit U, my animation is in the form of loop at 6 seconds. So 6 plus 6 is 12, so we can make this animation in the form of loop up to 12 seconds. Okay, so what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go and zoom in, and I'll go somewhere around 12 seconds over here, and I'll hit N, because after 12 seconds my animation is gonna be in the form of loop. Then I'm going to select this adjustment layer, I'll press F4, and I'm going to choose alpha mask. Then select this layer, hit 0, press S for scaling option, and initially let's make this value 0. Create one keyframe, go to around 6 seconds, and let's make this value in such a way that it should cover the entire composition. Okay, then select these two layers, hit Ctrl D, and with the help of open square bracket I'm gonna move this somewhere around over here. Now select all of this and press Ctrl Shift C, and let's call it as tint effect. Okay, press F4 and we have to enable this icon. Now select this tint effect and hit Ctrl X, go inside this and press Ctrl V, and make sure that this effect should be after this ellipse over here. Similarly, I'm going to copy this tint effect. I'll go inside this and press Ctrl V and make sure it should be over here. Okay, like this. Now if I see this animation, I'll get this animation like this. So let's make this quad resolution like this over here. And I need certain animation for this as well. So what I can do is that I can go to the rotation value and I can rotate it on Z axis as well. So let's create one keyframe over here, hit U, go to around 12 seconds and let's make this one complete rotation. So if I see this now, I'm gonna get this kind of animation over here like this. Okay, then I'm going to select this. I'll go to the effect and presets panel and I'll search for drop shadow effect and simply double click to apply. Increase the opacity to 100, softness to 400 like this, or let's say 800 maybe like this, and distance 0. And if I make this full resolution, I'm gonna get this kind of stuff. So this is how you can create this kind of kinetic typographic animation. So here we are in Adobe After Effects. Let's create a new composition and we are going to call it as main animation, as always we do. Width is 1920, height 180, frame rate 30, and duration is also 30, and background color is white, and simply hit OK. We'll go to choose grid and guide option and simply hit on titles of actions. So our basic settings are ready. Now I'm going to select my text tool and I'll type my text first, and for the text I'm going to choose Oswald font, but you are free to choose any kind of font you want. I'm going to choose medium version and I want all caps, and for the color I'm going to choose black color. And let's type our text. I'm going to type motion graphics. Okay, this is my text. Hit Ctrl A to select all of this. Let's make this full resolution and go to the paragraph menu and make sure to choose center text. I'll go to the character menu again. I'll decrease the distance between these ones like that. Okay, this looks good to me. Then let's select this text, press Ctrl Alt Home to align that anchor point to the center. Go to the align tab, align it horizontally and then align it vertically. Press S for scaling option and scale it somewhere around like this. Okay, this much looks good to me. You can go to the character menu again and decrease the distance between alphabets, and you can choose Fox bold as well like that to make this, and you can decrease the distance between these alphabets like this. Okay, this much looks good to me. I'll select this and I'll press Ctrl Alt Home. Again, align tab, align it horizontally and align it vertically. Okay, now I need to create some animation for the revealing animation. So let's hide this one for now. I'm going to select my rectangle tool, and for the fill I'm going to choose red color and simply hit OK. Zoom in a little bit, and by holding shift I'm going to create one small rectangle. Then select this rectangle, press Ctrl Alt Home to align that anchor point to the center. Go to the align tab, align it horizontally and then align it vertically. Now we will go to the rectangle and rectangle path, and as you guys can see the size of this one is 12. So now what we can do, I can select this and first I'll try to animate that. So press S, create one keyframe, go somewhere around 1 second, create another keyframe, go to the start and let's make this value 0. Then select those keyframe and hit F9, go to the graph editor, select this graph. By holding shift, move this handle over here and move this handle over here. So if you see, we are gonna get something like this. Now if you know the size of this rectangle is 12, so what I can do, I can select this and I can press P for position. I can alt click on this stopwatch. I'll type open and close square bracket. Inside that I'm going to type position and again open and close bracket, type 0. After that position 0, I'll go one frame forward and I'm going to type comma. I'm going to type position again Okay, open and close bracket and 0. Okay, so this position 0 is this 960, which means x value, and this position 1 is this 540, which means y value. Now I want to move this on y value, I mean x value over here, which means from this direction over here. So I'm going to type plus over here, and because the height and width of this rectangle is 12, I'm going to type 12 star index. Okay, like that. So what will happen, if you see, if I hit Control D again and again, it will create multiple copies. So let's enable our text layer over here, and we will create copies until it's going to cover the entire text. So at this point they are covering the text like that. Then select all of them, press P for position, and press V, and by holding shift we will try to adjust them until this is properly going to touch over here like this. Okay, make sure that this point is touching over here. Okay, it's touching over here, so let's keep it as it is. Okay, and let's make this fit. Now press Ctrl Shift C and let's call it as side 01. Okay, then go inside this, and now I need to be animated one by one. So what we can do over here, simply hit page down button 1 or 2 times, select all of them by hitting Ctrl A, hold Alt, close square bracket to trim up to this. Let's trim up to 2 frames, right click, keyframe assistance, sequence layers, hit OK, and zoom out, and let's increase the duration of it. So if you see, we are getting this kind of animation. Then go over here like that, select this, hit Ctrl D, press S, unlink this, and let's make this -100 on this axis like that. Okay, now let's select both of these layers, press Ctrl Shift C, and let's call it as collection of sides. Okay, like this, press F4 and enable this icon. Now I want this in upper direction as well, so press P again. We will type same expression, hold Alt, open and close, inside that type position, open and close, type 0, after that type comma, open and close 1, after that type plus 12 star index. Okay, so now if I hit Ctrl D, they are gonna be multiplication of these layers downwards like that. Okay, then select all of them, press Ctrl Shift C, and let's call it as collection 01. Then hit Ctrl D, press S, unlink this, and we are going to make this -100, so it will come upward as well. And let's select this and move this downwards like this. Then select both of them, and let's try to bring them over here like that. So if I see, I'll get this kind of reveal. Similarly, it should be one by one. So let's go inside this, and this time over here, instead of using keyframe assistance, what I'm going to do, I'm going to adjust them randomly like this over here. Like this. And if you see over here, let's make this quad resolution, I'll get this kind of reveal. Now let's select both of them, press Ctrl Shift C, and let's call it as mask. Okay, if I select this text, press F4, and let's choose alpha mask. So I'm gonna get this kind of revealing animation for this text. Okay, like this. Now let's select press F4, select all of them, and enable the 3D icon. Then right click, new, and create one camera over here. Okay, and let's make this angle of view 39 over here. Okay, and now if I press C over here and try to move my camera, I'm gonna get this kind of revealing animation. But I don't want to animate my camera now, because there are other stuff that I need to get animated over here. Okay, so let's try to do that. Now I'm going to select these two layers and I'm going to hit Ctrl D two times. I'm going to select the sixth layer over here, press V, go to the character menu, and I'm going to choose white color for this and choose black color for the stroke. Then select this text layer over here. This time I'm going to choose grayish color for this, like that. Then I'm going to take a distance of 5 frames. I'm going to select these two layers and move this over here. Take a distance of 5 frames, select this and move this over here. Let's choose quarter resolution, and if you see this now, we are getting something like that. But over here we are not getting anything because the stroke width is very less. So let's make this something around, let's say 2 maybe, and select this 2 and let's try to bring this over here like that. We are not getting anything because if you see over here there is white color over here. So let's delete that white color. I don't need that white color, so I'm going to delete that white color and I'll only choose stroke. Okay, so let's make this fit. First I'll get this stroke reveal animation. Let's deal stroke width, let's say 0.5 maybe only. Then I need this animation and then I need this animation. So make this at 15 frames and this should be at 1 second. So if you see this now, let's go make this quarter resolution. I'm gonna get something like this. Okay, then select this, hit Ctrl D and bring them to at 1.15 frames. And this time I'm going to select this layer over here and let's choose white color over there. Okay, so if you see this now, we are getting this extra effect like this. Okay, so this much looks good to me. Now let's select all of them and press Ctrl Shift C and let's call it as reveal. Okay, enable this and enable this icon and right click new and create one camera over here again, just for the check whether we are right or not. Okay, and press C, and if you rotate it, yes, our thing is still moving, so we are on the right direction. Okay, hit Ctrl Z and let's delete it. Now let's go inside this. I'm going to select this text layer. I'll hit Ctrl C. I'll go over here and I'll hit Ctrl V and let's disable this 3D icon. Similarly, bring this down and press F4 and let's not select any alpha matte. And now if you see over here, this consists of stroke, and instead of text layer I need shape layer out of it. So right click, create shape from text, and we are going to delete this text layer. Now I need to create animation over here for this text. So let's go to the add menu and we are going to choose trim path. Go to the trim path, let's make this end value 0, create one keyframe, go somewhere around 3 seconds, and I'm going to make this value 100. Then go to the start, create one keyframe at offset, go over here and let's make this 180. So if you see this, we are gonna get this kind of animation. So let's go to the 4, select this and let's move this over here. Select those keyframe and hit F9 and hit U. So if you see, we are gonna get something like this. Okay, now we are going to convert these layers into 3D. Similarly, this layer into 3D. Now we will go to the view and we are going to choose two horizontal view over here. Let's select this and press P for position, and I can move it on Z direction. So alt click on this position over here. Again we will type same expression, position 0 comma position 1, and because we have 3 axes now, so after that also we need to type comma position open and close bracket 2, and after that close bracket. Okay, so make sure to select this over here, and now I need to change the value of this on Z direction in negative value. So what I can do, I can type over here -20 star index. So what will happen if I hit Ctrl D again and again, I'll get multiple copies of it. Similarly, this one, this should be over here. So let's bring this a little bit over here. Okay, I'll hit Ctrl D again and let's try to bring one copy uh, sorry, let's make this fit. Let's try to bring one copy in middle of this. Again hit Ctrl D, and let's try to bring one copy in front of it, like that. Okay, and now let's choose one view again, and now I need this animation should be one by one. So I'm going to take a distance of 5 frames for each and every one. Select this, adjust it accordingly over here, and somewhere around at this point I want this middle one should start to animate. So I'll bring this over here like that. Then at this point I'm going to adjust them like this. With the help of open square bracket you can adjust this. And at last this top one should start to get animated, and this one should be at the bottom. Select all of them by holding shift and move to 5 frames, and let's try to animate them from here. So if you see this now, we are gonna get this kind of animation. Let's see this in quad resolution. We are getting this kind of stuff. Okay, and if you want you can select this one which is at the top over here. You can go to the effect and presets panel and you can apply tint effect on it, and you can simply swap the color of it like that, so you will get different results over here. Okay, it's totally up to you, but I'm going to stick with this one over here like this, or let's choose swap color because this looks good to me. Okay, and then after that we need to add our camera. So simply right click, new, and then add our camera. And angle of view I'm going to choose 180 like this. Okay, then go to the what we can do, let's choose custom view maybe. Okay, so as you guys can see the camera is in the middle. We have to bring it over here like this, and now let's show you this in through active camera. We are still not seeing anything, so hit double A and let's try to decrease the angle of view so we can see this. Okay, if I choose let's say 38 or something, I'll get different results. Let's choose custom view. Okay, this much looks good to me. Now we need to try to animate this stuff. So simply right click over here, right click, new, and create one null object. Convert this null object into 3D. Select this camera and make it apparent with this null. Now let's go somewhere around the last frame when the animation is gonna get completed, which means somewhere around at 9 or 10 maybe. Let's select this camera, press P for position, create one keyframe, then R for rotation, create another keyframe. Similarly, S for scaling, create another keyframe, and hit U. Then go somewhere around 90, and now we have to rotate our camera on Y-axis maybe like that over here. Similarly on X-axis like this. Okay, similarly position of this one should be over here. Exposition should be like this. Okay, similarly increase, or let's decrease the scale somewhere around like this. Okay, and then go to the start, select all the initial frames and let's move them over here, and now hit play. So if you see, we are gonna get this kind of revealing animation. It will take a little bit time to load because this kind of animation is heavy. If you see this in full resolution, we are gonna get something like this over here. And if you want, you can select those outlines over here, like this. By holding control, I'm going to select this outlines, and I can choose and try to reduce the stroke widths of them up to 0.1 as well, so it would be easy for us to see what is happening over there, like that. Okay, and finally the final position of the text is gonna be somewhere around over here, like this. Okay, now I can select my camera and I can play around with the depth of field. So let's go somewhere around 2 seconds. I'll hit double A and I'm going to enable my depth of field, and I'm going to choose aperture value to 100. Okay, so I can see, and now I can adjust my focus distance. So let's go to around 2 horizontal views over here, and now with the help of this I can adjust my focus distance. So this line should focus on this area over here. So let's try to adjust the focus distance around over here, like this. So if you see this portion over here, let's see how does it looks. Okay, it's focusing on this area. Similarly at this point, let's see. Okay, so let's make this one view again and let's see in fit. Okay, so up to this at this point I think focus distance is good. Let's increase the aperture value to 150 and let's see how does it looks. Okay, it looks something like this. So I think at this point looks good to me. At 4 seconds, let's see whether the look of this animation looks good or not. I think this also looks good. So let's create one keyframe at focus distance, aperture and blur level at this point. Then go to around 6 seconds. This time I need this should focus a little bit more, so let's increase the focus distance a little bit. Okay, you can again go to the 2 horizontal views, and as I said that this line should become over here, so let's try to do that. Okay, line is coming over here. Let's go to around 8. Again this line should come over here, so it will focus on this. Go to the last frame now, and this line should focus on this area. Okay, similarly you can go to 2 second as well, and you can try to adjust the focus distance somewhere around over here, like initially that is focusing on this portion. Similarly at the start you can completely focus on this portion like this. Okay, so let's make this one view, and now if I see this animation, it will take a little bit time to load. So let's choose quarter resolution, and now if you see, my animation is gonna be something like that, and it will take a little bit time to load this animation because this is quite heavy, but the final output is gonna be awesome. Okay, so this is how you can create this kind of text revealing or title revealing animation inside of After Effects over here, like this. So here we are in Adobe After Effects. Let's create a new composition, and as always we are going to name it as main animation. Width is 1920, height is 180, frame rate is 30, duration is 1 minute long, and background color is white color, and simply hit OK. Then we'll go to choose grid and guide option, and we will simply hit on title selection. Now press Ctrl K, and as you guys can see in project settings, the height of this entire composition is 1080. So what we can do over here, we need to create one strip for our text animation. So hit Ctrl N to create a new composition, and we will call it as text strip. And height over here I'm going to type 4, which is divided by 4, and hit enter. So we are gonna get something like this. Now press Ctrl Y to create one solid background and choose black color for it, and simply lock this layer. Then we are going to select our text tool and we are going to type our text, which is going to be motion graphics. You can type whatever text you want. Okay, press Ctrl Alt Home to align that anchor point to the center. Go to the align tab, align it horizontally and then align it vertically. Press S for scaling option and scale it somewhere around like this. Then if you want, then you can change the font over here. I'm going to choose Poppins font. Also I'm gonna go in my rectangle selection tool and I'm going to delete this fill. I don't need any fill, and I'm going to choose white color for the stroke and simply double click to create one stroke. Go to the rectangle one, rectangle path, and unlink this size, and let's decrease the size from here as well as decrease the size from here. Okay, so this is going to be my text. Now I'm going to select this text and I'm going to hit Ctrl D to duplicate it. I'm going to select this third layer of text, press P for position, create one keyframe over here. I'm gonna go somewhere around 4 seconds. Make sure that you are properly at 4 seconds, and at this point I'm going to move this position to the outside of this comp like this. Okay, and at this point I'm going to select this second text layer and I'm going to make it apparent with this third one, and alt click on the stopwatch and let's type loop out expression on it like this. So what will happen, that we are gonna get this animation continuously in the form of loop. Okay, then go to the main animation and we are going to bring our text strip over here. So we will get something like this. Now let's go to the align tab, go to the align and we are going to choose align top. Make sure to enable this snapping and hit Ctrl D, and let's bring this over here, hit Ctrl D, hit Ctrl D. So as you guys can see, they are properly distributed over here. Then I'm going to select this fourth and second layer. I'll right click and simply select this fourth and second layer, right click, time, and we are going to choose time reverse layer. So we will get this animation in opposite direction. Similarly, I want different colors over here. So let's select this text strip, go to the effect and presets panel, and we are going to type tint effect and swap this color. Select this, hit Ctrl C, select this second layer and hit Ctrl V as well. So as you guys can see, we are getting this kind of colors over here. Now let's select all of them and press Ctrl Shift C, and we are going to call it as text animation. Okay, and hit OK. Then we are going to select this. We will go to the effect and presets panel, and now we will type CC sphere effect and simply double click to apply. So we are gonna get this kind of sphere over here, and if you click on this, we are getting something like that. You can adjust the size of it. Now let's select this text animation comp and press Ctrl Shift C again to pre-compose, and we are going to call it as sphere over here and hit OK. Double click to open this, and now press Ctrl K to open the project settings, and width of this should be 1080 like that. And let's close this text strip. We have this text. Let's increase the size of this radius, so we are gonna get something like this. Also go to the shading options and let's decrease the diffuse value to somewhere around 40 and increase the ambient to 100 or even less than that. Somewhere around like this should be good. And we are going to increase the size of this somewhere around like this, that it should, you know, yeah, let's make this 530 maybe. I think this looks good too. Okay, like that. Then we are going to select this, press R for rotation, create one keyframe. We will go to around 4 seconds and we are going to make it one complete rotation. So what will happen, we will get this animation in the, like that. You can make this 4 rotation as well, so you will get something like this, or let's make this 2 rotations. Okay, so we will get this kind of structure like this. Okay, it's totally up to you. We can change it later as well. And then alt click on this stopwatch and we are going to type loop out expression on it like this. Okay, so our sphere is ready. Now we will go to the main animation and let's hide this sphere just for now. Now we need to create shape for our animation. So for that I'm going to select my rectangle tool, and we have to select rounded rectangle over here, and for the stroke I'm going to choose red color like this. And then I'm going to create, by holding shift I'm going to create this kind of rectangle. Then I'll go to the rectangle path, and roundness I'm going to make it 60 like this. Then select this, press Ctrl Alt Home, go to the align tab, align it horizontally and then align it vertically. Now let's select this and hit Ctrl D and select this second layer, bring this downwards and change the color of this one to yellow and hit enter, and let's call it as reference. Okay, we can use this later. Okay, just for the reference we have this layer, and let's hide it and lock this. Now this is going to be my path layer, so hit enter and let's call it as path. Okay, after that we will go inside this contents rectangle. Let's go to the start, go to the path, rectangle path, and right now as you guys can see this has this size, position and roundness. I don't want that, so I'm going to select this, right click and choose convert to Bezier path. So what will happen, we can create this kind of path keyframes. Why I need this path keyframes? Because I want this pair should move along with this stroke. So let's select this pair and bring this at the top, press S for scaling option and let's scale it a little bit, and press P for position, select this position and make sure to select this path keyframe and hit Ctrl C to copy, select this position and hit Ctrl V. Okay, so as you guys can see we are getting this kind of animation. Okay, then go to the start and make sure that you are clicking on this position, so all the positions are gonna get selected. Then select your selection tool and try to adjust the position somewhere around like this. With the help of arrow keys as well you can adjust the size or position over here, but we have to make sure that we need to select all of this keyframe. Like suppose if you select this one and then you can adjust the position, but as you guys can see we are getting this weird stuff. Okay, so whenever you are going to adjust based on your up and arrow keys, what we need to do, we need to select all the position keyframes and then with the help of arrow keys you need to adjust it like that. Okay, so I'm going to stick with this position, so I'm gonna get something like this. Now let's select this, press S and let's decrease the scale of it and hit U, and all my animations are in the form of loop at 4 second. So I'll go to the 4 second, I'm going to select this position and by holding alt I'm going to bring them over here. Then alt click on the stopwatch and we are going to type loop out expression over here as well. So what will happen, we will get this animation in the form of loop over here. Okay, now we need 4 copies of it, so hit Ctrl D. Let's go somewhere around 10 frames maybe, select this and move this over here, or bring this a little bit up to 15 frames. Hit Ctrl D, go to 1 second, move this over here, hit Ctrl D again, go 15 frame forward and let's move this over here. So what will happen, we are gonna get this kind of animation. Okay, and if you want to adjust you can adjust it up to 10 frame as well, like you can take a distance of 10 frames for each like this. You can select all of them, press S and you can adjust the scale according to your needs. I'm going to adjust it somewhere like this. Okay, so this is our text over here, and let's go to around 1 second because my final layer is starting from here. So I'm going to select all of these 4 layers. I'll hold alt, open square bracket to trim up to this, go to the start and simply with the help of open square bracket I'm going to bring them over here. So as you guys can see we are getting this kind of rotation. Now we need to create a text for this one as well. So let's select this path and this time I'm going to change the color of this one to black and press not S but stroke size. I'm going to increase the size of the stroke somewhere around like this. Then select this, hit Ctrl D and change the color of this one to white, and let's decrease the stroke size somewhere around like this, so we will get something like this. Okay, and now I need certain amount of text over here, so let's try to create that. So select your text tool and change the black color, and we are going to type motion graphics over here, then hit spacebar dash, again type motion graphics over here. Okay, so select this text, press Ctrl Alt Home to align that anchor point to the center. Go to the align tab, align it horizontally and then align it vertically. Then select your text tool and make sure that your text is selected and create one mask like structure over here. And if you hit M over here, as you guys can see, one mask has been created. So create one keyframe on mask path. Then we have to select this path over here and hit U, because if you know that we have already created on this path, we have to select this path keyframe, hit Ctrl C, and in mask path we have to press Ctrl V. Then with the help of double click, try to adjust the position of it. With the help of arrow keys also you can adjust. Okay, this looks good to me. Then go inside this and we will go to the text options, path options, and in path over here I'm going to choose mask. So we are gonna get something like this. Now what we can do, you can go to the character menu and you can increase the size of this text somewhere around like this. Okay, then you can select this, press S, and you can adjust the scale somewhere around like this. Similarly you can adjust it somewhere around like this. Okay, press S and let's try to adjust the scale somewhere around like this. Looks good to me. Okay, select this and move this over here, bring this over here. So what will happen, that they are looking like they are moving over here. Then if you want, then you can go over here in text options, in path option as well. You can get this option, first margin, etc, etc. So okay, so let's create one keyframe at first margin over here and press Ctrl R, and we will bring our ruler over here, and this ruler should touch the edge of this G. Okay, why we are doing that, because I need to create the animation in the form of loop, so this ruler is gonna be act like a marker. Then go somewhere around 4 seconds, and now I'm going to increase this first margin value until the same G is going to touch the edge of this line. Okay, like this. Okay, so at this value, which is 1094, we are getting the same look over here like this. And if I hit N over here and if I see this animation, I'm gonna get this animation continuously in the form of loop like this. Okay, so we will get something like this, and you can select all of them and press Ctrl Shift C, and you will can call it as animation, or let's call it as looping animation like this. You can go inside this, and because this animation is in the form of loop at 4 seconds, as you guys can see, we are getting something like that. You can right click and trim comp to work area, and over here I need this animation again in the form of loop. So what will I do, I'll go to the last frame somewhere around over here, I'll right click time, and I'm going to choose time enable remapping. And as you guys can see, we got one keyframe at last, and before that I'm going to create another keyframe, and I'll delete this last keyframe. Then I'll alt click on the stopwatch, and I'm going to type loop out expression over here. And then if I increase this, even after the last frame, I'm gonna get this animation continuously in the form of loop. Okay, so why I'm doing this, because I need to create multiple copies out of it. So I'll select this and I'll hit Ctrl D, press S, and I'm going to increase the size of it like this. Similarly, I'm going to select this middle one, I'll hit Ctrl D, select this, press S, and let's decrease the size of it somewhere around like this. If you want, hit Ctrl D, select this fourth one, again adjust the size of it like this. Select this fourth one, hit Ctrl D, press S, and let's increase the size of it somewhere around like this. And now if I hit play, I'm gonna get this kind of animation. Okay, like this. And what you can do, you can select this fourth or second layer, press S, you can unlink this, and instead of this you can type minus value over here, similarly minus value over here. So what will happen, we are gonna get this animation in reversible direction like this, and this animation is gonna be in the form of loop at 4 seconds. If I hit N over here at 4 seconds, make sure that it's properly at 4 seconds, somewhere around over here. Even after this, I'm gonna get this animation continuously in the form of loop. And now if you want a little differentiate little bit difference between the animation, what you can do, you can go and create a distance of 10 frames for each. Like for this one, or let's say distance of 5 frames, select this one, open square bracket and move this over here, go over here, open square bracket, move this over here, move this over here, and move this over here. Select all of this 5 compositions, press V, and let's try to bring them at the start. So what will happen now, we have a different distance for each and every one. Okay, and press Ctrl Y to create one solid background and bring this at the backwards. Okay, like this. Okay, so we will get something like this. Now you can go inside this, you can select this pairs, you can go to the effect and presets panel, and you can search for drop shadow effect and double click to apply, and then you can increase the size of this to somewhere around, let's say 200, and distance should be 0, or let's make this 400, or you can adjust the distance somewhere around, let's make this 100, and opacity 20. Select this drop shadow, hit Ctrl C, select all of this layer and hit Ctrl V, like this. Okay, similarly if you want, you can select these 2 layers, hit Ctrl D, and let's bring them at the top. Let's select this, let's hide this last 2 layers. Let's select this stroke layer over here, white color stroke, and bring this over here like this. Similarly, select this black color stroke and bring this somewhere around over here like this, and let's enable these layers again. So we are getting this kind of stuff, and if you see over here, we will get same structure over here as well, like this. Okay, and this animation is gonna be in the form of loop like this. Okay, so it's totally up to you whether you want it like or not. Okay, and after that if you want then you can change the color of this entire animation. Simply right click, new, and create one adjustment layer. Go to the effect and presets panel and search for tint effect, and you can simply swap this color so you will get different stuff. Okay, so it's totally up to you. You can adjust your animation according to your needs. So this is how you can create this kind of looping animation. And one last thing is that, suppose if you want a little bit of rotation animation over here, because this is just a simple animation, so what you can do, you can right click, new, and create one null object. Select all of these layers, not background but all of these layers, and you can make it a parent with this null, and don't make this adjustment layer parent with this null. You can select this null and press R for rotation and click over here, and because this animation is in the form of loop at 4 seconds, 4 plus 4 is 8, so this animation is gonna be in the form of loop after 8 seconds as well. So I'll go to around 8 seconds over here like this and hit N over here. As you guys can see, after 8 seconds as well, this animation is in the form of loop like this. Okay, like this. You can create one keyframe over here. You can go to around 8 seconds and hit N, and let's make this one complete rotation like this. Okay, but you have to make sure that this should be properly at 8 seconds, or if it not, then just a little bit over here. Okay, so this is how you will get this kind of animation, and along with that you will get this rotation animation as well. Okay, but generally I would like to skip this because this is not in that form of loop. Because of glitch, I'm going to skip this portion, and I'm happy with this 4 second animation. Okay, and this is going to be in the form of loop. So here we are in Adobe After Effects. Let's create a new composition. I'm going to call it as main animation. Width is 1920, height is 180, frame rate should be 30 seconds, and duration is also 30 seconds, and background color is black color, and simply hit OK. We'll go to choose grid and guide option, and we'll simply hit on title selection. Then I'm going to select my text tool, and I'm going to choose white color and Oswald font, and I'm going to type my first text called motion. I'm going to increase the font size somewhere around like this. Then I'll select this layer and I'll press Ctrl Alt Home to align that anchor point to the center. I'll go to the paragraph and I'll make sure that I'm going to choose center text. Again press Ctrl Alt Home, go to the align tab, align it horizontally and align it vertically. Now let's select this and hit Ctrl D. Let's hide this second layer, and over here I'm going to type graphics. Okay, so now we have this two not alphabets but words. Press V for selection tool and bring this word downwards. Now let's select both of them and let's try to bring them over here. Now let's select this one, press Y, which is a shortcut key for pen behind tool, and by holding Ctrl I'm going to bring this anchor point over here. Then select this and by holding Ctrl bring this anchor point over here. Then select both of these layers and convert this layer into 3D like that and hit OK. Then press R for rotation, and we need to rotate it on x-axis. So for this graphics I'm going to rotate it on -45 degree, and for this x rotation rotate it on +45 degree. After that right click new and let's choose our null object and convert this null object into 3D. Select both of these layers and make it apparent with this null. Now let's select this null, press R for rotation, we will create one keyframe at X rotation. Then press P for position, we will create another keyframe for position. Okay, then right click new and we will add a working camera, and angle of view I'm going to choose 80 and let's simply hit OK. Then select this null object, press R for rotation, and let's rotate it camera somewhere around like this. Let's make this -45. Okay, and press P for position, create one keyframe, and let's try to bring this position somewhere around over here. Let's double click on this camera, let's move this over here, and we will increase the angle of view somewhere around 120 and hit OK. Then I'm going to select this dolly towards cursor tool and let's increase the view somewhere around like this. Okay, select this null object and with the help of arrows keys also you can adjust it. Now hit U like that, then go somewhere around 2 seconds, and instead of -45 this time I'm going to make it +45 and change the Y position of it somewhere around over here. Okay, then go to around 2 seconds, simply copy this, Ctrl C Ctrl V first keyframe, then select those keyframe and we will hit F9. Then we will go to the graph editor, we will select this graph, but first of all right click and make sure that you are in edit speed graph. Then select this graph over here, and by holding shift I'm going to move one handle over here and move one handle over here. Then if you hit play we will get this kind of animation. Okay, then after that we will right click new and create one null object again, hit enter and let's call it as position. Okay, like that. Then select this null object and make it apparent with this position. Select this position, press P, alt click on this stopwatch and apply wiggle expression, type 3,3. So along with this we will get a wiggle animation also. Hit U, go over here and hit N. Okay, so we will get this animation continuously like this. Then select this camera and hit AA, and we are going to enable this depth of field. Aperture value I'm going to choose 100, and let's go to the start and let's make this full resolution. And as you guys can see we are getting this blurry edges, so you can adjust the focus distance according to your needs. I'm going to make this focus distance 800, aperture value 200 like this. It's totally up to you. According to that you need to adjust your focus distance as well, and the best ways to adjust focus distance, simply go to two views, out of which in this one I'm going to choose top view. Okay, and then over here you can adjust the focus distance properly on the text as you can see over here. Okay, so I have adjusted this properly and hit U, and now let's hit play. Then as you guys can see, we are getting this kind of reveal. Okay, so you'll get something like that. Now press Ctrl Y and we are going to choose some greenish color and hit OK and hit OK, and let's bring this downward. Select this layer, go to the effect and presets panel and search for CC vintage effect and double click to apply, and we will increase the amount totally like this. So we are gonna get this kind of structure. Then select all of these layers and press Ctrl Shift C, and we are going to call it as text and hit OK, and then go to the effect and presets panel and search for drop shadow effect and double click to apply, and let's increase the softness to 100, distance to 20 and opacity to 100. Okay, if you want you can increase the opacity to 400 as well. Okay, so we are gonna get something like that. Okay, so this is how you can get this kind of animation with the help of your camera. Then you can select this layer and hit Ctrl D. Select this second layer, reveal layer in source project. Select this layer and hit Ctrl D, and by holding Alt I'm going to replace it. Then go inside this, select these two layers, go to the character menu, and we are going to delete this fill and we will add white color for the stroke, and stroke width we are going to choose 1 pixels, and select this and press S, and let's increase the scale somewhere around like this. And now if you see this animation, we will get something like this. Okay, so this is how you will get something like that. And you can go inside this, and if you hit U over here, as you guys can see, we have this expressions. I can alt click on this stopwatch and I can loop out expression on this two values like position and exposition. Similarly for this text too as well, select this null object, hit U and apply loop out expression on it like that. Okay, and you can increase this value up to 8 seconds like that. And over here one thing you can do, you can select this second layer and you can bring this a little bit backward like this, so we will get a little bit of alternations between these two animations. Okay, like that. Okay, so it's totally up to you, you can adjust it according to your needs, like that. Okay, so yep, and you can increase it as much as you can, like you can move this up to 16 as well. So this is how you can create this kind of 3D text animation. Okay, so here we are in Adobe After Effects. Let's create a new composition and we are going to call it as main animation. Width is 1920, height is 180, frame rate I am going to choose 60 frame per second, and duration 1 minute, and background color is black color, and simply hit OK. Then we will go to choose grid and guide option and simply hit on title selection. Then I am going to select my text tool and I am going to choose Bebas new font, but you can choose whatever font you want, and I am going to choose white color. Then I'm going to type my text. I'm going to type motion graphics, but you can type any text you want. Then select this text and go to the paragraph menu and make sure that your text is center text. Then I need this anchor point at the center, so I'll press Ctrl Alt Home on my keyboard, so anchor point is going to be at the center. Then I'll select my selection tool. Then I'll go to the align tab, align this text horizontally, and then align this text vertically. Now this is our main text, and now we need to animate this text. So let's go to the animate menu and we are going to choose position. Then we will bring down this position downwards. Then go to the range selector and let's create one keyframe at the start. Zoom in and let's go somewhere around 1.30 seconds and let's increase this value. So now if you see, we are getting this kind of animation. Then go to the start. Along with that, I need to animate the tracking property as well. So I'll go to the property menu and I'm going to choose tracking, and let's decrease this tracking value. Okay, and initially the opacity should be 0. So go to the add property and let's choose opacity, and let's choose opacity 0. So now if you see, we are getting this animation. Now let's select this animation and let's hit F9 to easily ease those keyframes. Then simply go to the graph editor, right click and make sure that you are using edit speed graph. Select this graph by holding shift. I'm going to move one handle over here and let's move one handle over here. So now if you see, we are getting this kind of animation. If you want, you can move this animation up to 2 seconds as well. Okay, so this is going to be this animation. Now let's go to end property, end keyframe, which is at 2 seconds. Let's select this text and hit Ctrl D to duplicate it. Press V and let's try to bring this over here. Then go to the character menu, and this time I'm going to delete this fill and I'll choose white color for the stroke. Okay, and let's try to make this resolution full so I can see this portion. Then press S for scaling option and let's scale it like this. After that, I'm going to select my rectangle tool and I'm going to create this kind of mask over here. Go to the mask and let's increase the mask feathers. Okay, so if you see, we are getting this kind of stuff. Now let's select this text and let's change the color of this one to yellow, and let's bring this downwards and let's try to adjust it over here. Then I'm going to select this same layer and I'll hit Ctrl D to duplicate it. Let's try to bring this over here like that. Select this mask and let's try to bring this somewhere around like this. You can simply move this downward as well. After that, I'm going to select these two layers and I'll hit Ctrl D to duplicate it, and I'm going to bring them downward. Let's select those layers, press S and let's increase the scale again. Then select this layer and let's bring this downward over here. Select this layer and let's bring this upward. Okay, so now if you see, we are getting this kind of layers over here. So if I see, I'm gonna get this kind of animation. Now after that, we need to animate this one by one. So I'm going to take a distance of 10 frames. I'll select this layer over here, or let's go to the start. Let's take a distance of 5 frames. Select this. With the help of open square bracket, I can move this over here, go over here, move this over here, move this over here, and move this over here. So if I see this animation, I'm getting this kind of animation. Okay, after that, I'm going to right click new and I'm going to create one adjustment layer. So first I'll get this. Then at 2 seconds, I'm going to go in my effect and presets panel and I'm going to search for transform effect over here and double click to apply. Then I'm going to create one keyframe as scale and one keyframe as skew and hit U. Then go somewhere around 30 seconds and scale, I'm going to decrease it to somewhere around 90, and skew as well, I'm going to make it -6. Then select those keyframe and I'm going to hit F9 over there. Then go to the graph editor, select this graph. By holding shift, move one handle over here and move one handle over here. Okay, so if you see this now, we will get something like this. Okay, so if I see this animation in full resolution, I'll get this kind of stuff over here. Okay, now after that, I'm going to right click new and create one null object. Select all of them and I'll make it a parent with this null. Then select this null and press P for position. We will alt click on this stopwatch and we will search for wiggle 2,2. Okay, so what will happen that along with this animation, we will get a little bit of wiggle animation over there. Now let's hit U, select all of this animation and press Ctrl Shift C to pre-compose this, and we will call it as animation, or we will call it as text animation. Okay, now after that, we need to hit Ctrl N to create another composition and we will call it as map and hit OK. Now I'm going to press Ctrl Y and let's call it as fractal. Okay, then we'll go to the effect and presets panel and we will search for fractal noise effect and double click to apply. Let's increase the contrast to 300 and brightness to -200 or let's say -50. Okay, or even somewhere around like this. Then complexity 1 and go to the transform properties and let's increase the scale somewhere around like this. Then right click new and create one adjustment layer. Go to the effect and presets panel and search for mosaic effect like that. Then let's make this horizontal and vertical blocks to 50. Then go to the main animation, hit Ctrl 0 and let's bring this map over here and let's hide this. Then select this text animation, go to the effect and presets panel and search for time displacement effect and double click to apply. So as you guys can see, we are getting this weird kind of effect. Now we have to tell this time displacement that use this map as a reference layer and then animate this. So select this text animation, time displacement layer. I'm going to choose this map and let's choose quad resolution. Otherwise your file is gonna get heavy. And now as you guys can see, we are getting this kind of weird stuff over here. So to get rid of that, simply go over here, select this fractal, and let's try to increase the size as well as decrease this brightness a little bit. Okay, so now if you see this, we are getting this kind of glitchy animation over there. Okay, now let's go inside this, select all of them, and let's try to bring this up to 30 frames. So as you guys can see, we are getting this kind of stuff. Now select all of them and press Ctrl Shift C, and we are going to call it as main text animation. Then I'm going to select this and I'll hit Ctrl D around 5 times, so I'll get 5 copies of it. I'll select this last layer. I'll go to the effect and presets panel and I'll search for fill effect and I'll keep color as red. Select fourth layer, apply fill color. Let's choose blue color. Then select this third layer, apply fill color and choose somewhere around greenish color. Select this second layer and search for find edge effect and double click to apply and choose invert. Then we will take the hit page down button one time and select this with the help of open square bracket, move this over here. Again page down, select this, move this over here and follow this procedure somewhere around like this. So now if you see this, it will get a little bit like that, but your final output would be awesome. Okay, now my PC is taking time to load this animation, but your final and output will look like this. Okay, and then you can check out this animation in full resolution. Okay, and after that press Ctrl Y to create one black solid background and make sure to bring this downwards. Okay, now this is taking too much time, so let's see this animation in quad resolution only. Okay, so if you see this, we will get this kind of animation inside of After Effects.